What's up, guys? Uh, Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Yesterday, pretty exciting day. If you had patience, yesterday was a game of patience. Just kind of slowly creeped up. If you didn't catch that first little, we opened right here. We had like a little initial move up, came back down, couldn't take out those highs. Um, Apple News came out, and from there, the market seemed to just completely sell off. We're definitely going to watch 38.20. Have that right there. 38.19. Let's go ahead and start building our watch list for all the new people. Have a bunch of new people today. What we do is you just go through our watch list chart. I start with ES, NQ, SPY, go through our tickers, and then we end up with ES and NQ. So there we go. Our watch list for 7/19. Let's go look at our data. We have the Eurozone had CPI. I wonder how that went. 5 a.m. Look, seems like they moved the market when they opened a little bit. They had a push up and a drop. Uh, but Eurozone, then tomorrow's UK. Building permits, housing starts, Bank of England, Bailey speaks at Mansion House. Not the biggest one. Housing today, and then mortgage applications, existing home sales tomorrow. So, you know, inflation, interest rates are, basically down to inflation in the housing market and jobs. So it's all that whole battle with those. So this week we definitely get some housing data, and then Thursday we get some jobless claim earnings. This morning we have Johnson Johnson, Halliburton, finishing up bank earnings. Tonight kicks off big tech with Netflix, which everyone is going to be super excited to play. I honestly, personally, don't play earnings unless it's a complete lotto. Like, I'm going to lose all. I don't actually signal in and outs of earnings. I just play them personally. But this week we have Netflix. Tomorrow in the morning we have Abbott, which could be decent. Then Tesla, AT&T, American Airlines, Nokia, and then Snap starts the social media. You know, those all work together. Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, Amazon, Google. They all Facebook. Those definitely all want to keep all those on watch. So let's go ahead and get started. We're actually having a decent move up overnight. Um, Apple News. Apple News was actually pretty big, but the article was very vague. Because they're, you know, watching their hiring next year, and that's like all it really said. I was trying to look in depth in what and how much and everything, but pretty weird that they put it out kind of a week before earnings. But let's go looking at our supply and demands. Let's go look at the long term. On the daily, we weren't able to break out yet. We haven't broken out. We didn't create a higher high. We are still kind of in this little triangle that we kind of broken out below. We kind of broken out above, but we're still in it. Definitely watching. We have our daily supply here that we hit and we rejected yesterday. I'd like to see more of a better reaction from that, but we still have this. I'm not going to take a play from this daily supply because we have hit. Daily supply has hit, so I'm kind of trying to look for a supply out of this daily supply. So we're right here, 38.96. So 4,000 is going to be our watch today. Definitely keep that on. Keep that on watch. 4,000. We're kind of trading in its range. 4,000 and 38.19. So for Thursday, 3,900 was the key hold yesterday. So 3,900 is key level. Over 3,950, I think we squeeze up. We haven't gotten there yet, but so here's one instance, two, three, kind of 4, 5, 6 times where shorts are created. What's up, Brad? Where shorts are created. Hopefully, you did not try to catch that knife on Apple yesterday. 38.78 was our 4-hour demand. 38.96. $38.19. More downside. 38.07. So if we do drop below that 38.19, we could see a bounce up like this. Or if we continue up, we got to see where we sold off yesterday with Apple News, see if they're still selling. And we can kind of see this. So right now we're kind of in the middle, in no man's. Sweet. Yeah, I was holding some good stuff. I didn't notice the news until like Apple was way down. But right now, ES is in no man's land. Ankyo hitting 12. Good coffee. we did bounce from kind of this rally where we based and then had another rally. So we did a bounce from here from NQ. So you have to chart ES and NQ to get the whole thing. Definitely want to watch this 1200 level. You can tell 1, 2, 3. You can tell, look at that beautiful rejection and then just push up. And a day broke above. NQ overall is in this triangle. More of a better structured triangle than ES. So definitely want to see NQ. Here's NQ yesterday. I kind of marked this up. Pretty simple. Look at this support. 1 at open, bounced up at 1040, bounced up at 1050. Little tiny bounce here, and then look, straight down. So, when we're trading in a range, that's what you want to do. There's your range. That's why I was boring. Small range. Market was just waiting for something. Seemed like it was just waiting. Once Apple News hit, I mean, it just took. There's that kind of 1200 box right here where we came down. See, we had a little bounce, came below it, retest, drop. There's our test. As you can see, that beautiful test. Little drop, push through. So we're basing on a right above it. If we do drop below, I'm definitely grabbing QQQ puts. If we're able to bounce off of it and continue up to 12.1, grabbing QQQ calls. Um, Spy, we had that huge dark pool. Dark pool, 716. You can tell how yesterday, if you were in puts, that was a good time to exit when we bounced off that dark pool where it was purchased over here. It made pretty good money. Probably started selling. You can tell some dark pool came in after that sell. QQQ had a $860 million one at 718 at close yesterday after hours. So they probably bought the relief, not sure. But when we started selling off, we had Meta, Tesla, AMD, a lot of big dark pools coming in for these big names. That's where I took that Meta put, which was pretty solid. But QQQ, we're still waiting to get over here. We're gonna squeeze here up. VIX. If you guys were watching the VIX early on yesterday, didn't make any sense. Right here, VIX, we gapped up while the market was 1% green. VIX gapped up and kind of kept going up while the market kept going up. Did it make any sense? That's something kind of you should trigger in your mind where things aren't acting right. It should be like VIX is up and the market's up. Something's not right. That's when you're gonna wait for that move. Just wait. And the move was down. So VIX should go opposite of the market. UVXY. I'm debating on grabbing long-term calls, but Apple. I don't know. Remove that. I had like an upwards channel going on Apple. But Apple, we were able to break that 150 key level. Let's go ahead and move this to 150. Waiting for 156.71. Like I was showing Brad yesterday, you turn your extended. There's your kind of slowly base. We have a look at beautiful strong push. Base rally, base. No, rally, base, rally. And that's kind of where we kind of had a nice little tiny bounce here. Then we're kind of bouncing from this. So if we break through here at 146.10, 144 should become pretty quick. We just have a lot of selling. You can tell we have a very fair value gap here. Turn off extended. You can tell pretty strong move up right there. Apple got a low 146.1. We see 144.3 demand. AMD, definitely chips are been strong lately. AMD yesterday we had 84.32 supply. Where did we reject yesterday? Right there, pretty solid. You guys had that marked up. 4% move down, banger. 80 key supply. Now we're weak on that. See, here's our support. We broke through resistance, little tiny resistance here, push up, and where are we kind of bouncing from that. So 80.5 is definitely a key support to watch. Definitely like to see AMD kind of right here. Support broke through. Supply. Does that look like what's happening right now? Looks almost identical, just a bigger time frame. Broke through. Test. Broke above. See if it's going to test it and then break through. So kind of looks like the same pattern right there. Amazon broke out a little bit. Something I love is you go to like that first half hour go, 15-minute go, and then you start looking at your supply and demands. You start looking for nice pushes. Where are nice pushes? So right here we had a drop at open. A push and then a drop. So we had a push drop, came up, and then look, we came back, touched that. Touched that, and then push right back up. I like these because you like, off the open right here, you could use, a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to gap fill, but I see this nice little push here above yesterday's high. There's your BOS, breaker structure. I like watching here, and then you just keep your stop loss low day or possibly yesterday's close. And pretty decent. We are overall Amazon. Really not looking at Amazon overall. Do have this downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. We're kind of starting this triangle, but you can tell it's kind of crazy. We do have a gap below. Definitely need to get over that 117 pivot and then push up to 122. I definitely want to see that 122 supply. Demand, still got that 110 demand. We have that rally, kind of, bases. Go ahead, do 110.65. This little rally, you see how we base right there, and then we rallied again. Google, missed this yesterday. Yeah, I'll go back to Apple right now. So Apple, they had that news. That news is, Justin, that news is pretty decently bad. I like more detail about it. If you read the article, it was just pretty vague. They just said they're cutting hiring in certain teams next year. That's basically all it said. Didn't really say anything else. But you tell right here we have a nice 148.03. I was telling Brad yesterday, 148.03. We're gonna see that 147 demand, which we Did catch a little bounce here, kind of slowed Apple's sell off right here. But below 146, you can tell on my key watch below 146. I see us going to 144, possibly test that uptrend. But Apple has been strong at 150 key. We broke above. We can tell Apple the last couple days has been just a little bit weaker. You can tell. Yeah, I wonder how. Well, they're probably gonna wait for earnings, but Apple the last 2 days only in a 2.5 range, and you can tell AMD is in a 12% range the last 2 days. So Apple's kind of been a little weaker. Um, even though overall the market, it's been pretty strong. You can tell NQ's up 0.7%. Apple's basically break even. Yeah, it was Bloomberg and someone else picked it up. Um, and UK records hottest day ever. Wow, that's crazy. So euro surges on hawkish ECB report. But Apple, that news is pretty big uh, for the overall market. One of the top leaders, tech leaders in the United States, are saying they're going to cut spending because they don't know what's going to happen. Cut spending, freeze hiring. So that's pretty big. But the main thing I want to see is Apple, of course, like a lot of stocks. So definitely want to see 145. 145 seems like a nice support, nice resistance. But Apple definitely. I mean, that self was pretty strong. Let's see how it did on volume. Yeah, look at that. Volume came in strong. That was a huge, huge candle. So that's it on Apple. Let's see. I'd like to see it get above. So main thing with that is watch NQ. Justin, NQ and ES. NQ did bounce. ES is kind of in no man's land. Kind of, we could either. No, we had a good bounce off 38.19. Higher time frame. We're kind of no man's land. We could, if we are holding that put, we could come down here. And then we're going to possibly see a bounce here up here. Or if we do push it open, which we've pretty much been doing quite some time, you definitely want to see where we sold off. If we do push it open, I honestly wouldn't cut Apple. I'd look the average down and see if we do break over this, create a new high. I'd just cut it completely. So, if we do push, that'd be a good strategy to average down when ES gets up here. But once we break over it, just go ahead and cut it. You'd only lose a little bit. There's very little risk. Yeah, Apple. I think Apple. Here's the month. Sneeze. Oh, it's 7 weeks. That's why. I was doing a year. So we have a lot of volume at the top. That's probably where the sells came last week. You know, my PT for a put would be 145.86. Possibly bounce from that right there. Let's get yesterday's. Yeah, probably looking to fill that in. It's a nice push up. Let's continue. But Apple, Apple's staying weak. NQ's up 0.67, and Apple is probably going to go in red in the pre-market. So, Google split done. Kind of mad at myself on that one. Told myself, Amazon sold off after a split. Google, Shopify sold after their split. And what did Google do? Down 2.5%. Meta. So we got Meta on the daily. Um, Interesting daily candle gap below. Yesterday we had a 170.14, which I don't know why it says 0.56 right now, but we did reject that area yesterday. There's that kind of top here, and then you could tell our last buy candle, and then there's the drop. We have a $143 million dark pool. That's where I got in our put. I saw that come in, and then you can tell, look, what I like to do is hold it at, use it as support and resistances. You tell, look at resistance. It's just showing it's a sell. They could have sold it after hours. I don't have after hours data on Meta dark pool, but I saw that. I saw AMD, Tesla, with the Apple news. I'm like, okay, dark pool selling. Meta last week was one of the highest ones on dark pool. That pushed them up. They've been kind of strong lately, and their dark pool was strong. But we do have that gap fill above, but we do have a supply above. Kind of watch that weekly candle. That weekly candle, I mean, if it turns red and stays like this, closing into the week with a huge upper wick, kind of like it's not a shooter because it didn't shoot above, but definitely very, very bearish. there's our daily demand, 161.22. If we do it on there, let's watch our demand. We did break structure right here. I'd like to see, kind of, like previously, we kind of broke this structure, but tell our previous demand right here. Pushed it up 11, 12%. Tell hit it again, pushed it up, tell that breaker structure, created a higher swing higher high, came down. So that just confirms that strong. Pushed up, definitely missed that opportunity. 14.4. But we're right underneath that dark pool. 143 million. Dark pool at 169.22. Microsoft. I hate Microsoft. The only thing I'm really watching is this 3-day demand right here, or 3-day supply. Other than that, really not look at Microsoft. Look at Microsoft overall. This thing's just really, really choppy. If we do get upside, we're going to be stuck in here, which is probably 2 weeks worth of chop. If we do break above that, we're stuck here. And this is like almost over a month of chop. So, but also most stocks, your key watch today, guys, is going to be, are we going to push through where we sold off yesterday? That's going to be the main watch. Here's our sell off yesterday. Are we going to able to push up into this area and break up? Same with ES. Are we able to break through where we sold off pretty strong? This is a strong sell off. Are we going to be able to break up into it? Or are we just going to go up there and reject again? And Q, are we going to be able to reject again? So keep that on watch. When tickers start getting up there, you could take some lottos. It'd be smart, with Microsoft right here. Yeah, I'd go for calls. And let me get through. Oh, here. So the reason I'd go for calls is because if you look overall in the market, this is a squeeze right here. This is where a squeeze is going to happen. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas where we resistance. This previous, if you look at, how this is how I determine squeezes right here. Here's kind of a smaller time frame one where we have, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we tested here, and then look, once we break through it, needs to happen. Yeah, that was a good squeeze there. Like right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Then look, this is the one I alerted we were going to squeeze too. So it kind of seems like that's what we're doing, like, but big picture. And also, if we're able to get past here, we're going into this volume node. Put your VP. Let's go 2-month. 3-month. All right, hold on. Let's just do this. Right here, look at that. We have volume down here. If we're able to break past here, look at that low volume. Then up to here, to our VPOC from this area. You go to ES. ES is kind of same thing. We break above, 3950. You tell this is the only volume area that are drop, base, drop. And then if we break past that, we could, we'll see 41 pretty quick. But also, I'm biased bearish because our economy is jacked. So I did take a long put call, long put yesterday. NVIDIA bouncing off that 160. If we break below that 160, definitely want to see 156. Key hold 60, 165.9, 2-day supply. Which, if I look at this is what I should have done. Kind of made a mistake on NVIDIA. The thing is, with NVIDIA, we do have ASML earnings before open on Wednesday, which is a very boring chip, but it is still a semiconductor. But NVIDIA, I had this, and I also had this yesterday, which I kind of got rid of. We kind of had another in the middle of this, but big bear flag. 2-day supply. We had a drop. We came up, touched it. Yeah, we touched it, came down. But if you break it down into a smaller time frame, you see where we kind of based before we dropped, kind of right there. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Perfect. Don't tell me that's perfect. 169.12. The high yesterday was 168.97. So pretty solid right there. That's an ugly 2-hour candle. So kind of watching this area, but I like a stronger next candle than that. But 45 minutes. She got 166.68. Remember, we are in a range. So overall, see NQ is going a little bit. Overall, NQ is in triangle. So this is why supply and demand is working so well right now. So well, because in supply, we create new supply. Look, then we reject that supply. When we reject supply, we create new supply. What do? We reject that supply. So with demand. Demand bounce here. We create a new demand where we bounce. Bounce here. Where we do create a new demand. Where do we bounce again? Demand. So what do? Create new demand. But there's a time where supply and demands aren't going to matter. We're just going to sell off or push very strong, which could be earnings this week, could be FOMC next week. It's all, let's see what it does. So let's see, Tesla, we had supply 750. Where did we reject yesterday? Tesla premiums, I would have had to go like 720 to get like a $200 freaking put, or 620 to get a $200 put. That's why I didn't like it yesterday. But so you got 744.75. But also Tesla has earnings, so it's all going to depend on earnings. Boeing, beautiful. Oh, sorry. Beautiful, 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 beautiful put on Boeing yesterday. Just looking at Boeing, I went long term. So, look at Boeing. I'd like to see a retest of this, but you can tell, look, it finally broke out from this huge resistance. But I was looking at, if you look at the daily, you can kind of see where we had a strong sell off, and then we kind of based here. And then we had another strong sell off. So something happened here. So that's what I'm looking for. So I went to the 3-day. I was like, oh, doji. I love dojis. Supply or demand. Beautiful doji right there. 153.44, where we dropped base for like over a week here. And then another strong drop. We slowly creep up to it. And what did we do yesterday? We dropped from it. This thing ran. I didn't make good money off of it. Made like 20%. Wasn't bad money, but this thing ran probably 100%. Should have held. I got out about here when kind of I thought the market was going to start reversing. So it was a kind of a good exit because it did go red, but then it continued to go. So, let's go back to ES and Q. We are pushing a little bit. So let's see us. Let's see if we could push up to 12.1. Reject. We are holding this area right here. So our previous breakout area. But also, main thing is to watch our initial market opening. Seems like European market's pushing. So definitely watch when Europe closes. See if we could possibly. Let's see what happens. If you guys got any tickers you want me to go over, I can. But appreciate the newcomers. If you guys could if you guys haven't subscribed, I put out daily recap videos when I can. My son's been napping very well, so I've been able to put those out more often. And we go live pretty much every morning. This is kind of my charting session. At night, I really don't chart much because I'm with my kids. So I like to wake up a little early, start charting away. Our charting session is your charting session. ASML is a semiconductor, right? So they're kind of starting off. We could watch. I think they are. Yeah, they're a semiconductor. So definitely watch their earnings. See their earnings report could start away with semiconductors. Semiconductor, NVIDIA and AMD earnings used to be fun when it was just like no supply issues. But now it all depends on if um if they come out and say they're having supply issues. SMH, pretty much just have this former support, kind of turn resistance. Definitely need to break above here. Kind of like the overall market we could see here, and then get back up here. So some directors, if they could get some good movement, they could push up. Let's look at oil. What's oil? Oil back under $100 a barrel. Let's go some indices. All right, well, let's go. I don't feel like looking at these because I haven't charted these in a while. But appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. I'll be back on at 8 a.m. Thursday night, I'll probably be doing a class on YouTube. Possibly. We'll be doing it in Discord. I'll probably share it on YouTube or broadcast it live on YouTube also. But appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and kill it. Yesterday tested your patience. Definitely you don't need to rush into it. Make 100% in the first play. Where was that? The big money maker yesterday was with the Apple News, and that's where you made your money. Yeah, people get in it open and get that 100% and get out. But that, for me, that is too risky. But appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday. And let's kill it.